Hi, this is Josh from Dollar Store Reviewer, and today we are looking at the Make It blocks from Dollar Tree. These are Dollar Tree's version of Legos, and they are a Dollar Tree exclusive. Like everything in Dollar Tree, they cost currently, at the time of this video, $1.25. There are several varieties that are available in the store. I went ahead and picked up the fighter jet and I picked up the battle tank. There are other, obviously, kinds of versions that you can pick up from Dollar Tree as well. When you pull them out of the box, well, I should mention on the back of the box, these particular versions, they had two different designs on them. You can see that with the fighter jet and two different designs with the battle tank. When you open them up, the instructions tell you how to do both. So you have a design A for the fighter jet and a design B. And then you have a design A for the battle tank and a design B. The instructions are fine. They're pretty easy to follow. As you can kind of see, it walks you step by step through what pieces that you might need in each step and how to go about putting them together. These are, of course, the final products for the most part. And you're obviously going to wonder, I mean, the big question for anybody is going to be, how much are these like Legos? You notice the boxes say fits all leading brands. It says compatible above that. That is, in my view, just code for these fit Legos. And like a lot of people, I grew up with Legos. I've had Legos since I was a kid. My own kids play with Legos, so I'm pretty familiar with Legos at this point in my life. And for me, then the $1,000,000 question was, how close are these to the real thing? And the answer is they're mostly like the real thing. They are not identical, but they're mostly like it. I found that for the most part, I was able to put these together without too much trouble in the instructions. I will say that the pieces did not always fit together as easily as I wanted them to. There were some pieces I kind of had to force in. Some pieces where I made a mistake and I had to pull the piece off, and it was difficult. In one case, I had a piece I just couldn't leverage it off. I had to go get a pair of pliers to remove the piece, and it came off at that point. But there definitely were some hiccups along the way. Things felt they mostly came together when it was all done, but there were, like I said, some fitting issues, and those are things I don't typically run into with Legos. Legos just seem to fit together without trouble. These were a little different story. In one particular note about the tank has this black piece right here, and it's supposed to actually go kind of there on this cannon piece here. But when I would put this piece on, it's got a hole for it, the little cannon part's supposed to go through it, it just wouldn't stay. So what would happen is, like, this piece goes over this right here, and when I would put this black piece on it, and then I would file it into that spot, this part just wouldn't stay attached. So what I had to do is, to make the cannon part work, I had to remove this little black piece entirely, not put it on there, and then it did work okay. And that's obviously a bit of a design flaw if you can't get all the pieces in the instructions to go the way that they're supposed to. There's other little things too. It doesn't quite feel as tight in each of the spots. There's a little more give with the pieces. This tank has quote unquote wheels, but you'll notice that they're actually not real wheels. They're just kind of a flat piece of plastic. So you could potentially, I don't know if you'd scratch a table or not, but it's not a real tank, unfortunately, like you might get with Legos. Again, this is a budget version, and we understand that. One other thing that I couldn't help but notice, you may or may not have picked it up just in watching the video, but Greenbrier International, which is Greenbrier International is the Dollar Tree company. It is imprinted on both of these sets, on the tank here on the bottom, and on, obviously, as I just showed you, on the wing. And I mean, that's not a deal breaker, but it is a little bit annoying to actually imprint your company's name on a prominent part of this product. This isn't the first time we've seen this. we looked at the Final Faction line of Dollar Tree toys, and we saw the same thing. Greenbrier International was imprinted on them. In terms of a couple of other things, there were a couple leftover parts. We weren't missing anything on any of these. Each of them did have a couple of extra pieces that we didn't use. I double checked. There's nothing in the instructions to say that I missed anything, but everything was there that I needed, notwithstanding the fact that I couldn't get this piece to fit. But everything else was mostly in order, and I was able to get them both put together. 2, this is a regular Lego. You wonder, do these work with Legos? I put different Dollar Tree blocks on the Legos. They did seem to connect fine, so they do seem to be compatible as advertised. The end question then, you look at them, are these worth it? And the answer is maybe. I don't think there's any substitute for the real thing. Legos, these are not Legos. Legos are superior to these. So if you want a quality building block that clicks together the way you want it to and stays together the way you want it to, and where things are generally designed to fit together fine, then Legos are going to be what you want to do. On the other hand, these aren't terrible. You could certainly do worse. I've seen worse imitators in my life of Legos. These do go together, and everything seems to be kind of fit together. And again, despite the fact that we had the one piece on the tank that didn't fit together, everything else generally seems to come together okay. It's once everything's attached, it appears like it's going to stay there. I don't think that anything looks like it's about to come falling off. So that is a positive. They're not on par with Legos, but they're also not so terrible that, they're just going to start falling to pieces the moment that you start playing with them. And that by itself, given that Legos are a bit pricey sometimes, that might make these worth a look if you've got a Lego user in your life and you're looking for something that's on a little bit more of a budget.